Good afternoon, everyone. My name is Patrick. It's my pleasure to welcome you to this afternoon's Yin Yoga practice. We're going to start off in a comfortable seated position, just a little bit of pranayama, just to prepare for the class. Sitting cross-legged, that's comfortable. You can also sit Japanese style with your feet pointing back, raising your seat on a cushion, a blanket or bolster, allowing your knees to relax and soften in your hips, opening gently to the sides. So as many of you know that regularly practice Yin Yoga, Yin Yoga is a slower type of yoga practice, which is very beneficial for overall flexibility. It works by working on the deeper tissues around the ligaments, joints, deep fascias, to gradually open up the hip joints, help with lower back issues, shoulder issues, all of the joints of the body, depending on which asanas we're working on. We will be doing some hip opening asanas this afternoon, as well as some shoulder openers and some back stretches. So you'll get a good overall flexibility workout. So gently start to become present on the mat. This is your practice. Do whatever you can. I always speak at the start of the Yin practice about the green zone, the orange zone, and the red zone. The green zone, being in an asana, in the green zone, you're not really feeling anything. It's not really causing any sensations. The orange zone is where we want to be. We want to feel a stretch in the tissues, but we don't want to be in the red zone where we're feeling any pinching sensations or pain, particularly in the lower back, where people may suffer with sciatica or disc issues. So it's very careful to be mindful of your own body. You know your own body, and if at any stage you feel like you're getting too deep into a pose, just pull back a little bit. So we're going to start by gently closing the eyes and focusing on the breath. The breath is our anchor, which takes us to the present moment. So it's a very effective practice to become present in yoga, or indeed in any situation, just by focusing on the breath. Start to observe the breath, observing where you feel the breath, passing in through the nose, back of the throat. On the inhale, feeling the chest lifting, the abdomen rising. And as you exhale, feel the abdomen and chest sinking, and the breath exiting through the throat and the nose. Just carrying on at your own pace without changing the natural rhythm of your breath. Just becoming mindful of your breath, focusing on any subtle sensations associated with the breath. So in today's pranayama practice, we're going to do a little bit of work with retention and suspension of the breath. So after the inhale, when you hold the breath, that's retention. And as you exhale, you suspend the breath. So it's the gap at the end of the inhale and the exhale. So we're going to work a little bit on that. So I will count you through the practice using the metronome. If at any stage you find the practice too challenging, no problem to shorten the suspension or retention. You can still use the metronome just to work away at your own pace. The main contraindications for this type of pranayama practice will be pregnancy and hypertension. So just, you know your own body, so just do whatever feels right today. So at the end of the next exhale, if you hold your breath and breathe in for a count of 4. And hold for 4. Exhale 4. And hold 4. Inhale 4. Hold 4. Exhale 4. And hold 4. Inhale 4. And hold 4. Exhale 4. And hold 4. Inhale 4. And hold 4. Exhale 4. And hold 4. Inhale 6. And hold 4. Exhale 6. And hold 4. Inhale 6. And hold 4. Exhale 6. And hold 4. Inhale 6. And hold 4. Exhale 6. And hold 4. Inhale 8. And hold 4. Exhale 8. And hold 4. Inhale 8. And hold 4. Exhale 8. And hold 4. Inhale 8. And hold 4. Exhale 8. And hold 4. Inhale 8. And hold 4. Exhale 8. And hold 4. Just going back now to your normal breathing rhythm. Throughout the practice, try to remain focused on the breath. When you deepen the breath, and particularly make long, relaxed exhales, you're activating the parasympathetic nervous system, which is the rest and relax state. This helps to deepen the stretch, and it really potentiates and really improves benefits of the Yin practice. So we're going to get started now. I think everyone has their props, their cushions, bolsters, blocks. So I will talk you through the sequence of the poses. Like I said, just do what you can, and if anything doesn't feel right, come back and take child's pose whenever you wish. We're just going to start off in child's pose just for 1 minute. In child's pose, you can either have the knees wide on the mat, big toes touching, or if you prefer, you can keep the knees together, just sitting back in your heels, whichever feels better for you this afternoon. When you place the knees wide on the mat, you're getting a deeper stretch into the hips. So allowing your forehead to drop onto the mat. Position of the arms can be either back, which is embryo pose, or you can use the arms forward as a gentle stretch for the arms and shoulders. Starting to settle into the practice, letting everything soften and relax. Like I said, focusing on the breath. Just focusing on any sensations that you're feeling at the start of practice. Allowing the tissues to melt and soften. It's natural to feel physical sensations. If you feel any tension or tightness, you can practice visualizing the breath going there and helping to relax the tissues. There's no active engagement here, everything is just sinking and relaxing. Your knees are wide on the mat, working on the external hip rotators. You're also getting a deep stretch in the glutes and the quads. Relaxing the muscles, tissues of the lower spine. Here we're going to come to melting heart pose. So coming up to a tabletop position. Melting heart pose, the hips are going to stay high. We're going to drop our chest onto the mat or onto a cushion or bolster. You may have to experiment with what props you need. So take your time to get settled. Slam your chest. Fall onto a cushion. If the mat's too challenging, allow your arms to go forward. This asana, the spine is an extension. So you're getting a stretch into the front line, into the abdominals. You may also feel it in the glutes,
Shoulders are externally rotated and retracted. So the retractor muscles like the latissimus dorsi and serratus anterior, those muscles are being stretched. You have a lot of shoulder and spinal flexibility. You may not need any props under your chest. Just be mindful at the start of practice. You can always adjust in a couple of minutes if that feels good. As always, focusing on the physical sensations, staying in the orange zone. If you're feeling any tightness, visualize sending your breath there and keeping the breath slow and steady and relaxed. Also getting a deep stretch here into the triceps. Spending 30 more seconds here. Gently pressing up, putting the props to one side. And coming back briefly again to child's pose. This is acting as a counter pose for the spine, which is now in flexion. Allowing the sitting bones here to sink down towards the mat. Spine is relaxed. Focusing on the breath. and back up to tabletop. Next asana is caterpillar. So come to sitting on the mat, Dandasana. Knees are sinking into the mat. Legs are straight. Visualizing your feet, pressing into the imaginary wall. Now in caterpillar pose, if your hamstrings are tight, it's beneficial to sit on a low cushion or even a towel or blanket. This is giving you more room to fold forward. And from this position, keeping a gentle stretch into the hamstrings and allowing your upper body to drape forward. You can place a bolster under your chest, that feels good. Let's experiment with what feels good this afternoon. Gently holding on to your ankles or feet, or even grabbing up to the elbows, allowing the upper body to sink down towards the thighs. This asana is a great stretch for the deeper tissues of the lower spine, deep fascia. Also getting a stretch into the glutes and the hamstrings. Neck is in flexion, chin gently pressing against your chest. Keeping your focus on the breath. Deep inhales, slow, steady exhales to activate the stretch response. During the practice, thoughts will occur. Try to just acknowledge these, let them pass. Try to always bring your focus back to the present moment, focusing on the breath and on the physical sensations. Trying to find space between the thoughts. 30 more seconds here. coming back up to Dandasana. Next pose we're coming to now is dragon pose. Often called lizard Vinyasa practice. We're going to start by bending into our left knee, pressing the foot into the mat. Going to work on moving our right knee back. Can place a bolster in front of the right knee, under the thigh, and just walking the hands forward. Feels good. You can gently allow the left, press into the left side of the foot, allowing the right side of the foot to come off the mat. The main benefits of this asana is working on the external hip rotators on this side on the left hip. You're also getting a deep stretch into the right hip flexors in front of the hip. Again, allowing everything to soften and relax. Focusing on the breath. Keeping the breath slow and relaxed. Focusing on physical sensations. Staying in the orange zone. And sending your breath to areas of discomfort. Visualizing your mind, the tissues soften and relax. Many hip opening asanas in yin practice can be normal to feel a sense of emotional release. So if thoughts occur, and even difficult thoughts, just observing these, letting them pass. Just 30 seconds more on this side. Taking your time, going back to tabletop. Repeating that asana on the other side. So this time stepping forward with the right foot on the mat. Moving your left knee back. Placing a bolster under the left thigh if that feels good. And again, if it feels good, allowing the left side of your right foot to come off the mat, allowing the hip to open. If you have very flexible, open hips, it's fine to come down onto your forearms, that feels good. If you're using any props that make the asana more accessible and more comfortable.
This time working on the external rotators in the right hip, left hip flexors. And observing thoughts. And the pass. Ask yourself, am I my thoughts or the observer of my thoughts? Try to be the silent witness or observer. You may also feel this stretch in the groin muscles, the adductor and hip adductor muscles, the inside of the right leg. Going back up slowly to tabletop. You can make some gentle movements here if that feels good. Just loosening out the hips after that. Chaturasana. We're just going to come to crocodile pose just for a reset. Just coming down onto your abdomen, making a pillow from your hands. Your forehead to rest on your hands. Allowing everything to soften and relax. Focusing as always on slow, steady breaths. Might feel good to allow your heels to drop out to the sides.
In crocodile pose, we're going to come to Sphinx pose. So in Sphinx pose, we're going to place our elbows under our shoulders. Forearms are parallel. Pubic bones are gently resting into the mat. Legs are relaxed. So this asana, the spine is in extension. So we're stretching the front line of the body, the rectus, abdominal muscles. Shoulders, there's a deep stretch across the shoulders. Shoulder blades are retracted. Your shoulders are tight, you may feel some tension here. So just keep the breath relaxed, sending your breath there to relieve any tension. Just going to spend 1 more minute here. From seal pose, we're going to come back to child's pose. It's acting as a canter pose, placing the spine this time into flexion. So again, allowing your sitting bones to sink back towards your heels or between your heels. Allow your forehead to gently rest on the mat. Maybe this time drawing the arms back, just for relaxing for the shoulders. Keeping the breath relaxed, allowing everything to soften. From child's pose, we're going to come to seal pose. So again, allow your body to drop down onto the mat. This time, pressing up into the arms. Depending on your level of extension in the spine, you can press the arms more forward or back onto your shoulders. But being careful to stay in the yawn zone. If this is too challenging, coming back again to Sphinx pose, taking crocodile pose whenever needed. Normal to feel a gentle tension in the lower spine here, but be careful there's no pain. If there's pain, you're in the red zone, you need to back off a little. It's 30 more seconds here. And again, from here, coming up to tabletop, and coming into chant pose, so counter pose, this time bringing the spine into flexion. And again, it might be nicer to let your arms relax, fingers pointing back, palms facing up. Again, allowing everything to soften and relax, focusing on the breath and any physical sensations. Going back up to tabletop. Next after we're coming to is frog pose. So in frog pose, with your hips high, we're letting your knees relax out to the sides. Toes can be touching if this is okay. We're going to feel a deep stretch here into the groins on both sides. You can stay with your arms extended, or you can come onto your forearms. Maybe if it's comfortable, letting your head Gently relax on your hands. Allowing the knees to separate. Can be quite an intense stretch for the loins. People can find challenging. So just observing any sensations, staying in the orange zone, keeping the breath soft and relaxed, and sending your breath to areas of tension. One more minute here. We're coming back to tabletop. Making any movements that feel comfortable. Here we're coming to the sleeping swan. We're going to step, turn our left foot forward, moving the left foot over toward the right side of the mat, allowing the left knee to go back on the mat. Ideally, your shin should be parallel to the front of the mat, but not everyone has that degree of hip flexibility. So just go into your own limits, not beyond. So in sleeping swan, we just allow our upper body to drape down onto the mat. We're making a pillow from our hands. You can use a bolster or a block. Under the hip, allowing hip to relax. So we're getting a deep stretch here into the external rotators in the left hip. They also feel it in the hamstring. On the right side, on the right leg, you're getting a deep stretch into the hip flexors. If it's too challenging to stay in this position, you can come up onto your hands. Staying in the orange zone, using whatever props are needed to make pose more comfortable. This is a great asana for people with tight hips, people that do a lot of sitting in their jobs. Keeping the breath steady, focusing on physical sensations, sending your breath to areas of tension. Again, just observing any thoughts that come to your mind, letting them go, being the silent observer of your thoughts. One more minute on this side. Coming back up to tabletop. Again, making any movements that feel comfortable. Or changing sides. This time stepping the right foot forward, over towards the left side of the mat. Allow the right knee to drop to the right. Relaxing left leg onto the mat. Placing a cushion or block, bolster under the right hip. Coming down onto your hands or the mat if that feels comfortable. And again, just allowing everything to soften and relax. This time feeling a deep stretch in the external rotators in the right hip, the right hamstrings, the left hip flexors. Remaining present, keeping the breath steady and relaxed. And 30 more seconds here. And gently coming out of the pose, coming back up to tabletop. Making some gentle movements to relax the hips after that intense stretch. Coming down now to dragonfly. So sitting back onto the mat, coming to Dandasana, but opening the legs wide. So again here, if hamstrings are tight, you may wish to sit on a low cushion, a towel or blanket. The both feet are wide as is comfortable. Getting a deep stretch into the groins and allowing your upper body to fold forward. And spinal flexion here, getting a deep stretch into the deeper tissues and fascia at the lumbar spine. Cause of a lot of chronic back pain. Very deep hamstring stretch. Also stretch the glutes. If you have difficulty folding forward, you can also place your hands behind and just gently push yourself forward. One more minute here. Again, focusing on the breath, observing physical sensations, sending the breath to areas of discomfort, trying to find stillness in the pulse. 2 more seconds. Coming up to Tadasana, moving any props. Next pose we come to the shoelace. Shoelace can be quite an intense stretch, so we'll offer a modification if needed. I like to teach shoelace by starting in Rasta hero pose. First, we're going to lift up the left leg, cross over the right, allowing our left knee to come to the right side of the mat, and our left foot, our right foot coming to the left, our left foot coming to the right. We're going to try and sit down between our heels. If you have good range of movement, your sitting bones may drop onto the mat, but it's fine to use a block. If you find the pose extremely challenging, you can come to open shoelace by lifting, in this case, the left knee high and pressing your left foot into the mat. It's quite a deep stretch for the hips. Experiment with what props are needed. Feeling a deep stretch here in the hips, quite an intense asana. So focusing on the breath, keeping the breath slow and relaxed, sending your breath to areas of discomfort. Maybe feel this in the quads, certainly in the hip external rotators. Just take 30 seconds more on the side. Going back up to Vrasana, and changing sides. This time lifting left foot, left knee high, going across over the right knee. Right knee going to the left side of the mat, left foot going to the right. And if it's comfortable, sitting back onto a mat or onto a block or bolster. It's very challenging going to open shoelace, lifting right knee high and placing your foot on the mat.
Doing whatever feels comfortable, staying in the aura zone. Quite an intense stretch, so just being mindful of your own body. One more minute here. We out the pose, come into tabletop. Making whatever movements feel comfortable, just to loosen out the hips. From here, coming to our final Shavasana. Shavasana, we're going to lie on the mat. Feet are wide on the mat, toes dropping out to the sides. The arms are also wide on the mat. Palms facing up. The eyes gently closed. Beginning by focusing on the breath, observing as you inhale a gentle rise of the abdomen, and as you exhale, imagine the abdomen sinking down to the mat. Focusing on physical sensations you're feeling after some of those challenging asanas, maybe in the hips, lower back. Observing the sensations, sending your breath there, visualizing a deep relaxation. Visualizing points of contact between your physical body and the mat. Back of the head, shoulder blades, the elbows, the wrists, back of the hands, lower back, buttocks, thighs, calves, and the heels. Visualizing your body lying in total stillness, sinking into the mat. Having a deep sense of gratitude for everything that your physical body has done. Visualizing yourself sinking into the mat, at one with the earth. Feeling a deep connection with the earth. Being grateful for everything that the earth provides for us. Bring to mind loved ones, family, friends, sensing a deep connection with these people. Visualizing a wider community, maybe work colleagues, then all of humanity, all sentient beings, the whole universe. Feeling this deep connection, shared consciousness with the entire universe. Realizing that suffering comes from the illusion that we are separate, whereas in truth, we are connected to everything. Visualize yourself sinking into the mat, sensing this deep connection to the universe. Staying here for a few moments. Start to become aware again of the breath, starting to elongate the breath. To waken up the physical body, start to wiggle the fingers and toes. Make gentle circles with the wrists and ankles. Slowly rock the head from side to side. You may wish to take a deep stretch. On a deep inhale, reaching your arms up overhead. Exhale, side out. One more nourishing breath. Side out. Giving your knees one last well-deserved hug. And taking as much time as you need. Turning to the right-hand side. And again, in your own time, Pressing your left hand into the mat, coming up to any comfortable seated position. You may wish to place your hands in prayer, bowing your chin towards your chest, thanking yourself for taking time from your busy day to practice this afternoon, thanking your fellow yogis for the shared energy. And I'd like to thank you sincerely for practicing with me this afternoon. Enjoy the rest of your day. Namaste. Thank you, guys.